Hey guys, so my name is Daning Basega, and this is my adoption story for the Adoption Scholarship. So basically, when I was a child, my birth mother in China gave me up for adoption because basically what happens there is that China has enacted a one child policy, basically meaning that if a couple has over one child, they have to pay a super high tax in order to have that second child become a citizen and be able to attend college and high school and be able to enjoy all the benefits that a Chinese citizen can have. So what happens typically is that if a poor peasant family has a girl as their first child, they'll keep that child and then they'll try again. And then if that second child is a boy, then they'll keep the boy and then they'll have a 4-member family. But if that child is a girl, then that second one is normally the one they're going to give up for adoption. So the good chances are that I was that second girl that was given up to adoption. So what they normally do for that is that this is a very relatively common practice in China. So they'll put the baby girls in public areas such as like squares, towns, like in the front of famous buildings or popular buildings, so that when the police make their rounds, they can see the children, pick them up, and bring them to an orphanage. So that's what happened to me. I was left on the stairs of a tax bureau when I was about 3 or 4 months old in Juzhou, and then I was taken to a nearby adoption facility by police officers, and that's where I spent my next 8 months of my life until my adoptive parents came and picked me up with their 7-year-old son. And they have been trying for a while to have another one, but it just wasn't working out, so they did a lot of praying and a lot of people prayed over them. And finally they decided that they were going to pursue international adoption. So finally it was coming to fruition. They had seen my picture, they had prayed for me, they had opened up their hearts and their homes for me, and the moment I saw them, I started crying crazy hysterically. Like, I did not like them, I did not want to look them in the eye at all. I hated them for the first couple of days because I had only been raised around Asian women for my whole life. And now these weird white people were trying to take me away from them. And not only were they white, but there were some white males in there, and I was like, not about that. So the first couple of days were definitely rough. It turns out I was sick, my mom was sick, my brother was 7 years old, so that's never easy to travel halfway across the world with that. But luckily we made it through that. But the gateway to my parents was actually through my brother. Something in him just sparked my interest, and he was actually the first person that I bonded to, and I kind of followed him like his shadow. And then through his connection with me, my parents were then able to be connected and form a bond with me. So then about a week later after they adopted me, they brought me back here, and then that's how I've been living here in America for the past 17 years. And a lot of people ask me when I tell them my story, do you ever wish you could meet your birth mother? And honestly, I don't. And it's not that I don't have a yearn to meet her, but I just don't think that's necessarily part of my identity, because my adoptive parents have been so loving and caring for me that I just don't feel that hole in my heart that the birth mother necessarily needs to fill. The only reason I would want to meet my birth mother would be to profusely thank her for the sacrifice that she made by giving me up, and to just show her all the amazing opportunities I have here in America, and about how blessed I am to be living with my loving family, because the only time that I have ever been very sad about my adoption is that when I was about 7 years old, my parents tell me a story about how from a young age, they've always told me how I was adopted and that my birth mother loved me and that they loved me and I was part of their family. But when I was about 7, one day it dawned on me that my birth mother didn't know where I was, and she didn't know if I was okay. And that just broke my heart, and I just started inconsolably crying for a few hours, and I didn't let anybody comfort me, and it was a rough realization, and that still breaks my heart today. But fortunately, this past summer we had been able to go back to China, And the last couple of days there, after doing touristy things like the Great Wall, Tiananmen Square, and seeing the Terracotta Army soldiers, we were able to go back to my original orphanage. Now, the orphanage had since relocated into a new building, but we were able to meet the director and the secretary and actually one of the caretakers that was there when I was there 16 years ago. And it was crazy to just look into their eyes and to just personally thank them and show them how well I am off now, and to just show them that the care that they gave me when I was little was not in vain, and then that intensive care allowed me to bond so well with my adopted family and allowed me so many great opportunities and gave me that emotional security and that emotional foundation that gives me a great building blocks to then build the rest of my life with. So that was definitely super crazy. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned from being adopted is to just always be grateful for everything. Like, it's almost always in the back of my mind, just like, wow, like, you could have been a poor peasant girl in China working on her family farm. But no, you're in America, you're in Loudoun County. Like, you have so many amazing opportunities here that it would be crazy to just look around me and not be grateful for everything that I've been given from my amazing family, who's sacrificed so much for me, for the amazing school and education that I have, for the freedom that I have here. And just that continual grateful mindset, I think, has really been impactful in my life to keep things in perspective and to keep me very down to earth, so that when things seem to be like going awry or going wrong, I can pull back to that and just remember, like, hey, like, I'm here in America. I have such an amazing, blessed life. I really don't have much to complain for. And that really puts a lot of my like stressful or like minute problems into perspective. So I have been so blessed to live here, and I'm so grateful that 16 years ago my parents flew 12 hours with a hyperactive 7-year-old to pick up a little Chinese baby girl that they've never met, because it's changed my life and I know it's changed their lives, and it's something that I'll always be grateful for.